Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Original D-Rose, Refracted Curvature, Neil Constantino, Eli Chocolate Sane, and a whole bunch of people in the Politics Discord server. So welcome one and all.
Good morning.
How you
Good
doing?
afternoon.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I didn't get to do my little spiel in the pre-show for you in politics. The reason we come to politics on an almost weekly basis, it has been weekly for almost a year other than a couple of weeks for illness and things, is to, number one, spread the point that Earth's measured flat. I think people who are in the server while we were doing the pre-show will have got that. But the other reason, in 2025 at least, is to point out how we've been deceived. Now, there's a appeal to motivation fallacy that could be employed that we're not going to. We just like to educate people in terms of how people have been deceived rather than pointing the finger at you personally. But the scientific method and its abuse has led you to believe you are on a ball by hearing those words, science specifically, alongside many other science words like hypothesis, theory, and many others. But by being here, hopefully we can elucidate what science actually is so that you can appreciate what it isn't when you hear some science words bullshitting you in future. So that's our purpose here in 2025 in the politics server. And we've built quite a good rapport with the server, and nice that we're extremely welcomed in spite of being guests here. So I run my show on a Friday from this server, and I thank you for not swearing, and hopefully you'll ask some questions if I haven't already terrified you by yelling at some fundies who didn't want to acknowledge their use of flat earth measurements in the pre-show. We shall see how we get on. I don't mind if there's a few protracted silences on a Friday. But that's my introduction to you in the politics server, having done my live introduction that you also got to hear from my live audience in YouTube. Smash the share button if you're listening on YouTube. That's it, I'm done.
All right, I got a question. Do you have a religion?
No.
So if someone asks what your religion is, you don't subscribe to any religion?
No.
You said no if you didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. You said no. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Did that not come through? My bad. My gates. I've got a new microphone and I'm getting used to the new compression that I have to apply to it, gates and things, and sometimes it cuts me off before I've said the word I want to say. Thank you for not acknowledging it. It makes me know that I'm not coming through my own mic. Bloody wonderful. But no is the answer.
So would you say you're an atheist, or do you believe in the higher power, or?
Atheist? No, I wouldn't say I was atheist either. I mean, that's not really why I'm here.
Do you believe in God?
But that's for a different server, perhaps. You're getting some short, sharp answers because it's not really the purpose of being in this particular server. So we're here about Flat Earth, obviously.
Oh, channel, you mean?
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I've never come across someone who says the Earth is flat and is an atheist.
Hey, that's called a stereotyping fallacy. Anything else?
Yeah, why don't you believe in God?
Okay. There is one more thing I have, because I watched a clip of you and yesterday. This plane thing you were talking about, can you explain what that is? Because I don't know what that is.
It's what thing?
Antipodal plane?
Antipodal plane?
Yeah.
That's a contradiction in terms. I don't really understand what you're asking.
On your clip, you were explaining the anti-podal plane model of the flat Earth, like the two planes, the measurement, I guess.
I'm pretty sure those words didn't cross my lips. I don't have any model that I'm claiming. Perhaps I was going through with somebody who believes they're on a ball, how their ball came to fruition by measuring angles to Polaris, and two systems both measured on flat planes with stars that get sandwiched antipodal to be projected into a ball. But that would be me describing how the ball Earth that potentially you believe in come to fruition. Certainly not me describing anything to do with the model I adhere to. That'd be me detailing how the sphere came to fruition by measuring a flat Earth and angles to stars, to then sandwich north and south antipodal to project it into a ball. That's not my belief. You obviously didn't understand what I was talking about, otherwise you'd have recognised that's me detailing your belief that's measured flat to come to that belief that you hold.
Actually, I'm not a globe earther, but
I hear that a lot.
Well, Gakushi, maybe you could post the clip that you're talking about in
It
the
doesn't
chat
matter.
so we know what
yeah,
it
let
is.
me
We've
find
dealt with it. It doesn't need to.
Yeah, just in case it was a different thing.
No,
I
it's all
couldn't
good.
understand what the hell he was saying.
By
It's
the
all good.
way, I called it. Nathan yesterday, Heyoka, or last night or this morning, he kept saying that you were claiming that, and I called it. I said he was probably like using your model, but you're taking it out of context, and that's exactly you just perfectly explained, and it proved me right. So thank you for that. And yeah, I just want to say
Well,
that.
in the meantime, like with the Hyuka guy, regardless of whether or not it's been misinterpreted, that is what it is. Now, for the dude that was asking, now that it's been explained, maybe you didn't understand what I just went through. That's fine. I'm not trying to catch you out, or you know what I mean. That's not my intention. But with the guy that you've got the clip from that I was talking to, I was explaining to him how the model that he believes in, that's a globe, is based on flat Earth angle measurements to the stars. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you understand that the flat plane being described in that tete-a-tete was measured flat with angles to stars? Regardless of where the maths go to create a ball afterwards, the measurements, the Earth measurements in that example were flat. Do you understand that? That was what I was asking him, by the way.
No, I didn't know that.
All right. Well, let me enlighten you. We're talking about angle measurements off a plane of surface that's got a baseline to form an angle. Therefore, if the surface wasn't flat, we wouldn't be measuring these as angles. They're called elevation angles, specifically Polaris, that gives us latitude. So those are flat Earth angle measurements that are used to create a ball. Do you know what an elevation angle measurement is?
No, can you explain what that is?
I'll do you one better, I'll define it. So the altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. Sustainable by design. Definition of altitude angle. Do you understand now?
Yeah, better than before.
Excellent. So in order to measure these angles to stars, we need a horizontal plane to be standing on. It forms part of the angle. A flat Earth prerequisite, as I would call it. Earth must be flat for us to start the process of measuring angles to stars to mathematize balls into existence for people to believe they're standing on. Earth has to be measured flat for that process to begin. That's where I was taking the guy yesterday for you to say, oh, well, what are you talking about with antipodal sandwiching of flat plane models that get measured with angles to stars? Yeah, I was trying to get him to acknowledge the flat plane that gets measured with angles to stars to form an antipodal system north and south to create a ball Earth with it, based on the angles of a flat Earth that I'm taking you through now, by definition, the elevation angles. They're on screen for my live audience.
I got a question on that.
I posted that video on chat, by the way. Sorry.
Just 1 second, Chocolate.
No.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever video it is you've posted. Meanwhile, I'm defining what Earth gets measured as to create a globe Earth, like in the discussion yesterday I was being asked about. Hopefully that's all been cleared up now, that we measure Earth flat to achieve the ball that the guy had suggested he'd got proof of, but it turns out he actually needed Earth to be flat to be measuring this elevation angle to the star, north and south, regardless of how he then sandwiches them antipodal and creates a ball with them. The measurements are flat, so we're all absolutely clear here. Earth is flat. That's how it's measured for everybody always, even if you've got a ball belief. It's amazing.
Back to my question. That
Can I
horizontal
ask
plane
Jedi
that
a
you just
question?
described? What the hell? Go ahead.
Could I ask Jedi a question?
I mean, if you want.
Okay. Do you think you could explain your understanding of the antipodal flat Earth sandwich model?
We just
I
explained
consider this
literally
fine.
10 seconds ago that isn't our model. I didn't claim that. This is a straw man. What the hell is he doing? And he's now doing it to Jedi instead
I
of me.
spoke to some guys earlier, and they said I was lying and that it had never been said.
Yeah, it hadn't. I just said you're lying.
They
I didn't say that.
understand it.
I didn't say that when I spoke to you, presumably while I now clarify it for the second time, having just clarified it 25 seconds earlier, presumably with you here, not listening to me, clarify specifically how your globe Earth model comes North and South Pole centric based on your question to me about North and South poles that I then detailed with regards to your question and your model, how they come to fruition with angles off a flat plane being measured to be sandwiched antipodal and then projected globally. That's your model. So if you're suggesting, as you just did, flat Earth model, those words crossed nobody's lips. You're a lying shit. Nobody said that. So yeah, you're a liar. Nobody said flat Earth model. You use an antipodal system measured flat with angles to stars to create your globe model. I hope that's abundantly clear that Earth is measured flat for your stupid idiot model that you think you're standing on. I didn't suggest it was a model I'd adhered to. On the contrary, I didn't create it. It's not mine. I didn't measure it. But Earth got measured flat for it, and therefore, after the fact, you to believe in a ball when extrapolating out those flat Earth measurements. That's not a flat Earth model. No, those words didn't cross anybody's lips. You're a lying shit. So get lost, lying shit. They were right when they called you a lying shit. You are. It was my conversation I had with you that you've misrepresented and suggested I've got a flat Earth model that's antipodal. No, I haven't. Absolutely not. You're a lying shit stain.
You said
You
had
are
one
a
plane.
liar, and I don't
It's
want to talk to you
defined
anymore
with
because you've
Polaris.
lied about things I've
How was
talked
the
about
other
with
plane
you.
defined?
I don't want to engage with you in any more conversation because when I do engage with you, you go off into the realm of nowhere and start lying about the conversation we have had. I didn't have that conversation with you. So you've talked to other people about a conversation you didn't have with me, about a flat Earth model that's antipodal. Oh, that would be bollocks that you've made up, and I don't want to have any more conversations with you so you can go away and make up more bollocks I haven't said. That's not fair. So I'd ask the moderators, can you just remove this lying shit stain that's been demonstrably proven to be a lying shit stain? Thanks. I don't want to talk to him anymore. He just keeps lying about things I haven't said.
Yeah, he's muted. Hey, okay, you don't get to come in and tell people what they're saying when they're in your face saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. You don't get to say, yes, that is what you're saying. You speak only for yourself, and you've obviously misconstrued whatever's been said, so we'll move on to someone else.
What I did do, though, was with that guy that's come in and been a complete shit stain and lied, was point out that Earth, like on the diagram on screen now, gets measured with elevation angles, in this case, or in that case yesterday, to Polaris. The elevation with respect to a flat plane was something that in 15 attempts he couldn't concede. What he did instead of conceding that in 15 attempts was go away and lie about something I hadn't said. That's what you globers can do. I labelled globers who do something similar as wankers and said that the people watching who believed in a globe were being represented by that wanker. And they were basically like him, because that's all they'd have, and that's all they could do. Come in and lie about things I haven't said, and essentially hand wave or try and obfuscate the fact of the matter when it comes to the angles. Again, on screen for my audience. Inside this ball Earth, with a celestial sphere wrapped around it, would reside a plane where this angle is originating. That plane is a North Pole-centric system that the angle can only be measured from. Underneath it, antipodal would be the South Pole-centric system that creates the globe as a paradigm. That was being explained to him because he was utilising flat Earth elevation angle measurements. I was pointing out how in his model he needs flat Earth angles. But what's that turned into? Nathan's got a flat Earth model that's antipodal. Wanker! Yeah, you got to lie to Glurf, right? No, didn't acknowledge how Earth was measured flat with angles, went away and told people I got an antipodal model. Lying bastards. That's all you can do.
I told that guy earlier this morning, and he has the audacity to come back and say the same exact thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, right after I'd gone through it and how it wasn't the case. Literally, immediately afterwards. These people are only here to piss us off royally, so that we look bad in getting furious mad with how disgusting their behaviour is, while they just sit and chuckle, because they're a frickin' nobody, and this is inconsequential to him. Who is he? Do we get his name? Do we get your address? Do we get these things from these people so that they can be held accountable for their shit-stained behaviour? Of course not. Meanwhile, I'll get doxed. I'll get people reporting me for child abuse to the police because they hear a frickin' sound. That's what I get. What's this guy got? Is he being held accountable? No. Just a wanker here to piss us off royally. That's his only purpose. Because it makes him amused. Yeah, self-indulgent wanker. Go away and do that on your own. Don't involve us in your tossery.
Yeah, that part is true. That's fucking the double standard when doxing people.
No swear.
He didn't swear. Yeah, we were all deceived. We all heard lots of science words as we were growing up. We were told how science proves this and science proves that. And before you know it, we aren't questioning anything because we've been led down the garden path of this doesn't need any questioning. It's been dealt with by scientists. Therefore, it's proven. And that's how we are ending up utilising reified flat Earth measurements into a ball that we can stand on. It's stupid and idiotic. And I'm tired of it. Knowing how stupid and idiotic the control methods that have been used against us are means that I get to be ridiculed as a flat earther, and I'm sick of it. No, I'm just going to shout you down, treat you like dogs, call you wankers. My own audience. I'm talking to my own audience. Yeah? What? The guy behind the iPad's going, what? You're not talking to me. I'm a globe believer. I'm a loyal. I haven't been horrible. I'm talking to you. Yeah, you're a wanker. Yeah? Because you believe this shit. And prop up a system that will poke and prod at the people that realise the truth of the Earth and its measurements. They'll support the ridicule of us. Well, I've got no issue. I'm a fairly strong character. I can turn that on his head immediately. What are you going to do? Oh, Nathan can mute me. No, I can come into the politics server where I've got no control over anything and still shout you down and call you a complete wanker with justification and disdain, with evidence of an Earth that's measured flat coming from your own mouth. In your own examples. And what can you do in the face of that? Go away and lie about what I've said? Nathan's got an antipodal model. No, I haven't. Lying shit. That's the best you can do. I'll still be here next week telling you all it's measured flat, because it is. I'll still be here next week using your examples that you think prove a ball to prove it's flat, while you run and cower. That's what the guy in the pre-show did. Yattered on, telling people how hard done by he was because he was getting muted by the server operators as he chatted shit and ignored every point put to him. Then I come in and say, oh, right, apparently someone else in the server's getting bored of this. I'll draw close to it. Then no worries. You use distance. Linear. Flat. No, don't use those distances. You'll get told off by me, a flat earther. How dare you ridicule us? And then use our measurements. That won't happen while I'm around. I'll tell you off. How dare you use our flat earth measurements? Miles, you say? No, those are ours. Accept a flat earth or don't use them. It's just that simple. Why would we accept you using our flat earth linear distances? How dare you, ball-believing clown shoes?
That was a perfect invitation, too. I'm getting a little bored. Boy, you jumped right in on it. That was like perfect.
I don't think it was him that said it, though. It wasn't the guy I was tearing a strip off that said I was getting bored.
No, it was another guy. That was perfect.
Hopefully some of my YouTube...
I still...
Go ahead.
I still don't understand what that is, though. The antipodal thing.
Okay.
Is there a way you could explain it in simple terms so I could understand it?
Yeah, measure angles to stars to create a North Pole-centric system. Now, in the south, it becomes more convoluted because you haven't got a point that you can measure to. So they stretch the longitude lines to a point of convergence and then call that point of convergence Sigma Octantis, the south celestial point that the stars appear to rotate in that area of the world. Now, for all of the stars that are navigational and in the almanac in the south and north, you can then plot all of the positions and their angles by way of time into a book and log where they're above at given times. Now, all of those measurements, without exception, are on a flat Earth. Now, you can take the 2 points that you suggest are points of rotation for the stars above you on a plane and suggest that one of them, the south, as we call it, is actually underneath the north. So now we've got 2 flat planes. One we're going to call the north and one we're going to call the south, and they're underneath each other. Why? Well, because I've arbitrarily put them there in this description to you. I didn't do this, by the way. It's not mine. Au contraire, it's the origins of the globe idiocy that people believe in. Those points can then get projected out with all the stars, matching the angles you took off each flat plane with PZX triangles. Those would be the globe that people think they're standing on, projected through them to the celestial sphere now wrapped around 2 planes, north and south. That's the origin of the globe's creation mathematically, with the origin being flat Earth angles to the stars. The point I was trying to take dickhead and his lies about me having a flat Earth antipodal model that I don't have. That's where I was taking him when he asked me about the points in the star called north and south. Yeah, we've got them measured flat. What about them?
Firstly, if you believe in the paradigm or paradox where people from Australia are swimming upside down, whether you're from Australia or not, then that is your problem. You need to go see a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Yeah, it's reification. You've taken what I've just described, the antipodal positioning flat projected out with PZX triangles onto a globe you can't stand in, you can only measure from within as described on this diagram, on screen now for my live audience. The origin angles in the sun inside the sphere, as depicted here, are how they all work. Suggesting that you've got a plane tangent to the surface that they match with is irrelevant of how the actual angles plot out through PZX triangles to the celestial sphere in this model to have any semblance of usefulness. That's how it works. In a globe, not on a globe. Well, when you understand that, you then go, right, okay, so to project it as a sphere, you have to sandwich antipodally a different map underneath the south one. Okay. Well, then you can create your globe with it. Okay. That's idiotic. You can't reify that if you know how mathematically you just sandwiched a point that's over there towards the horizon, south. You didn't go over an edge to get there, did you? No. Oh, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like something we get asked as flat earthers? Yeah, it's because that's how your globe gets created. Like all ridicule of globe, it's because you have a failure in your reification of a globe that we get asked about things like edges and boats going over horizons. It's all part of your globe paradigm. Oh, why isn't the boat falling off the edge of the flat earth? You've got a boat falling over the edge of the bleeding horizon. That's why you ask us. It's a preemptive attack based on the crappy argument that you'd have to go through. Better that you deal with it by putting it on your opponent. Asking us about boats falling over the edge of the flat earth. What, the one that you plotted antipodal underneath with a separate flat earth map based on the south that's over there, definitely not underneath us, to create your stupid globe? Yeah, that's your model, not mine. Of course, you could lie and just say, Nathan's just said he's got a flat earth model antipodal. You could do that. My exemplary knowledge of how your idiot globe came to fruition isn't me suggesting we've got an antipodal model, though. That would just be what some wanker does, after not conceding how we measure angles to stars to achieve all this 15 times. You can just lie about things I haven't said afterwards. That's what that guy did. That's why we're having this conversation, by the way.
So is the south under the north plane?
No. South is over there.
Or...
Point south. Do you point horizontally when I say point south? Or do you point downwards? Do you point to your feet or do you point towards the horizon if I say south?
Yeah, horizon.
Right, so is it underneath? No, that's not south, is it? So we travel south and measure angles to the stars. What in God's name would suggest that you're going to put that underneath? Well, it's going to be the basis of a globe religion that most people in the world think that they're standing on, even though it doesn't function that way, like on screen now. it functions from within the globe, so you can take angles off a flat plane because that's what the surface of Earth is. And for it to function in this way, it must have a plane, a surface, to measure angles from and plot within a globe that you pretend the PCX triangles you project from within the globe are somewhere to stand on. They're not. My understanding of this is that I cannot any longer reify a globe into something I can stand on, because to mathematize it, I must be within the globe to work the angles that I measure on the surface of Earth in that paradigm. It can only work from within the globe when I describe it that way. I'm not in hell measuring angles on a plane. I'm just on a plane measuring angles. It's the surface. It's not hell. Your globe idiocy is nonsense, and I know how it works now. I can never go back. So all the people like Patricia Steer and Robbie Davidson and Jaron, they're just retards that didn't ever understand how the globe was created. If they did, they'd appreciate how Earth must be measured flat to achieve that. It's on screen for my audience, the people that aren't retards.
Okay, so but when we say the South, are we talking about Antarctica or?
I've never been, I don't know. But I know south is that way on a plane. Just saying south is a flat Earth prerequisite. So you're saying, okay, travel south. Which way is that? Horizontally, that direction. Okay. And we get to Antarctica. Okay, I'll accept that. And all we did was travel across a flat plane. Oh, well, in my model, I couldn't give a crap what your model says. I know how your model came to be if you're going to suggest it's ball-shaped. Here's another diagram of measuring the polar axis. Oh, where's the dude standing? Is he on the surface of a ball, ladies and gentlemen, my audience? Is his horizon off at a tangent? No, he's on a flat plane inside a globe, isn't he? Looking at the North Celestial Pole through what is basically a glorified protractor that people think the globe is. They think the protractor you measure stars with is a surface to stand on called Earth. A globe Earth. It isn't. It's just a protractor that you'd measure angles off a flat plane to stars with to start this process off of creating a globe Earth to think you're standing on. But if you knew the maths, you wouldn't ever think you're standing on it because you can't.
That's about as explanatory as you can get.
Is this the diagram that QE wanted yesterday? It is, isn't it?
That's the one I provided. That's the one I provided. He said that's not quite the one. I think he said the little stick man had a bigger head.
He had a bigger head. Okay. What would be nice is an occasional concession from our opponents. They start using linear distances on a flat plane, or angles to stars on a flat plane. And we go, excuse me, can you acknowledge the flat plane that you need to measure these angles off a flat plane for your stupid globe proof to commence? Can you acknowledge that, please? What do? They run away like the guy in the pre-show did. He just run like cowards. Or the guy yesterday, the guy that came in earlier, the little shit stain that lied about what I'd said. That guy took 15 attempts to stutter and stammer away around an acknowledgement of the flat Earth prerequisite angles he must use in his question about points in the sky, north and south. 15 times. When are we going to get someone who comes in and goes, yeah, I understand? I mean, maybe once in a while we do get that. I'm not going to lie. We have had people like Matthew Learns understand and acknowledge and accept the flat Earth prerequisites he must use for his stupid globe belief. Not often, but occasionally.
Next.
What was that song
There's a
we
lot of
listened to before? And I said it reminds me of like a LL Cool J version of "I Need a Globe." When I wake up in the morning and I look in the sky, and then I watch and observe the sun go by, and then I think as that's going over the horizon, is it geometric or it's just my psychotic imagination? I need a globe.
Very good.
That's
There's a lot of Globers chat skanking right now.
That's all right. I don't mind sitting in silence while they type on their keyboards.
Well,
scratch their neck.
I was gonna ask, how can somebody, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about like Jaron, for example. How can someone practice flat Earth and then go to the south and then come back say it's not a flat Earth? Like just because there's a 24-hour sun?
You have to ask him.
Flat Earth.
If that's what he's suggesting. I don't keep up with Jaron, so you tell me. What's he suggested? Is that what he's saying?
He's a Glover now.
Okay, well, I'll just
I
say
don't
that
think
that's
he's a
ignorance.
glober.
If you understand how the globe's created, you
Okay,
understand
maybe he's not a glober, but he's not a flat earther anymore. Let's just say that.
Well, then he
He's a
doesn't understand.
freaking globe.
Well, he doesn't understand how Earth gets measured, then, does he? That's just ignorance. Okay, no worries. Jaron's entitled to his ignorance. Me, I can't walk away from what I know about how Earth gets measured. It's flat. Once you know that, there's nothing to walk away from. To suggest that the globe model works better, what, after measuring an Earth flat to create it? That's not going to make me walk away from anything, is it? If Jaron can, that means he's ignorant.
Hold on, Nathan. How can you claim ignorance? You broke it down personally to him many of times. How are you going to claim ignorance to that?
My compadre on my panel is suggesting that because I've approached Jaron personally and explained this stuff to him personally at length, that means that he should know.
What I find
What's
weird
the main
is
difference between us and Jaren? Jaren subjugated himself to a model / map, whatever he wants to call it at whatever time. We don't do that. Never done it. And that's the difference. Right? Because whatever it is that he decided to believe in when it was supposedly disproved to him, it was a done deal. We don't do that. That's why we're good.
Well, most flat earthers used to believe in the AE map.
I don't know if that's a stereotype fallacy, but I'll certainly say at some stage I saw the map, was told it was the world, and immediately started investigating it. Now, if at some point you found a clip like people have done about guns, or in that case a comment, that said, oh, well, this alludes to the idea that you accept that as the world. Well, okay, fine. But in reality, once presented with it, I started investigating its validity almost immediately. Now, I never bought a poster and stuck it up on my wall. I wanted to know how valid it was. So I did what I could to establish that with facts. I tracked the sun and matched it with time and date and the azimuthal equidistant North Pole centric Gleason's projection. That's what I did and found it didn't work. So if you want to say, well, everyone believed it, okay, if you want to say that that was the case for me because I had it up on screen while we looked at whether or not it functioned correctly or not, then fine. But I'd still go back to my original assertion. It's just a stereotyping fallacy.
What I find weird, and I'm actually really disappointed about, is that Jaren, before all this nonsense of him being a Glober now, he said himself, so even if I go down there and see that, what, I'm going to ignore all the evidence of it? And then he did. He literally did that. He literally ignored all the flat, arguments, and he jumped to a ball. And whoever said he's not a Glober now, no, he is. He literally had Woofy on the other day on his show that was actually promoting why it's a globe. And that's Jaren's whole shtick now. He's all about globe now. So it's just really weird that he just...
How lovely. I'm sure it'll be more profitable for him.
Actually, he had like
exactly
a few viewers.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He's given up on the truth, and he's now looking to make a full-time career out of being a YouTuber, and he's realised there's more money on that side. Fair enough.
Maybe. I mean, he might find him just doing a ranty, and as Ranty found out, you go onto the other side and then have your own material used to debunk assertions that you make. And that's kind of embarrassing, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's probably why he disappeared.
Yeah. Well, what's Jaren going to do when someone says, really, Jaren, and then they offer him up his own evidence in rebuttal to his assertion that he's just made? What's he going to do? Argue with himself? Oh, yeah, I used to believe that, but now this new belief that is countered by my old assertions, what are you going to do other than have a little mental breakdown on the spot?
He literally went against everything that he said.
He'll be back on the construction site within 12 months.
Well, there's a 24-hour sun in the south, right? Now that's established.
I don't know if that's really established either. There's so many contradictory reports. So there's people who assert they've been in Antarctica for a significant period of time and haven't seen or are unaware of there being such a thing as a 24-hour sun. Why would I assume there is? I haven't seen it. Would be the attitude that several people. So originally, maybe 2 months ago, I was saying, or I was told personally by Robert Shortman, no, there are multiple first-hand accounts of people suggesting that while in Antarctica for a significant period, they did not observe 24-hour sun at the period that now is suggested there would be one. In the case of Robert Shortman, he was there for an extended period, about 12 months, and then another stint for another 6 months. But in that period, he did not observe it, and that was his testimony. Now, either people have been inserted intentionally to lie about their first-hand experience of a 24-hour sun that they're now lying about not experiencing, or something has changed. That is to say, when they were down there experiencing firsthand that there wasn't a 24-hour sun, now there is one. Okay, I can accept that. But for retroactive continuity, as it was put to me by AI last time this came up in discussion, that is to say, assuming that it has to always be the same, lest somebody who has experienced it in the past be called a liar. No, it may be the case that they did not experience it, but now it is an experienceable phenomena. Fine. That obviously doesn't comport with their suggestions of heliocentrism. Regardless, I have not experienced it firsthand. The 24-hour sun in the north, I'm far enough north to infer it, like a guy who is Australian and joins the show occasionally does the same for his south observations of the sun. That is to say, by extrapolation, he can easily suggest that that's what the sun would do as you got further south. Like I can do here in the north, and have experience firsthand with sun tracking. We had a participant that showed us the 24-hour sun in the north. But the 24-hour sun in the south, that's more ambiguous because there's contradictory testimony. So there's more investigation to do because of the contradictory testimony now.
Well, to be fair, I don't even think the Globers claim there's a 24-hour sun 365 days. It's only a few months.
No,
right?
no. Well, it's not even a few months, but even then, with the limited period, both north and south, that you would experience midnight sun. Yeah, I know it's a limited period in both. But like I say, regardless, first-hand testimony from people who've been there for a period that would have experienced it did not. And now we have contradictory seeming evidence that's been filmed. Now, that already existed. I'm going to just point this out as well. I think it's Chocolate that says this. So we've gone down to do the final experiment, which it definitely wasn't. Hold on, just clear my throat. But in so doing, we're going to observe something that was already supposed to be established as having occurred anyway. Okay. Wasn't this already established as having occurred anyway? Aren't we supposed to have footage that's suggested to be showing it already? So, okay, big deal. It never was an issue for us because we didn't take the azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric Gleason's projection as our map and model. Now, the people who are jumping ship are on a vibe where they suggest that their relinquishment of flat Earth is because of the failure of the Gleasons. A bit like Tiger Dan did 10 years ago.
Well, that goes back to the point that I was saying. Like, Jaron went against everything he said. Oh, just because I see a sun go around me, am I going to avoid all these other things like the black swan and everything else? That doesn't. It disproves sphericity. So how does a sun going around his head in Antarctica just all of a sudden he jumps on that ship? So like it's like, dude, you literally said you wouldn't do that, and then you did that. Like that's really disheartening.
Chocolate said it. Chocolate said it. He went from a geometric argument to a model afflicted argument.
Right.
And somewhere down the line, he's decided to go into this model argument, which is the straw man. At what point? I don't know, because I was watching Jerem for the last year and heard him talk about models constantly for the last year. But the previous 2 years, he would say what you said, which is, there's no model, and we're talking about geometry here. So something changed, I think, maybe 12 months ago for him.
Yeah.
Wait, the AE map that he debunked himself?
I'm sorry, what was that, Neil?
What was that, Neil?
The AE map that he debunked himself? Wasn't he part of that, Nathan? Tracking the sun?
Yeah, certainly. I don't know if he actually took part in the event itself, but he was absolutely acutely aware of it, and everybody around him was doing it at the time. He may have even taken part. I'd have to go back and check. I can't remember. He may have done.
And what's that other thing called? Retroactive continuity?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
weren't there a lot
Yeah,
of
but it is.
so-called flat earthers?
somebody
Weren't
actually
there
went
a
on
lot
his
of
show and challenged him about it, and he was like, no, there's no such debunking. And then he reiterated the discrepancy for an hour that the sun was out by on the sun tracking, preemptive. So it's not preemptive, proactively pointed out the failure exhibited when we track the sun to the person putting to Jaren, that he would already be acutely aware that it was debunked. He was like, oh, what, when it was out by an hour? And then he gave the example. You're like, okay, so definitely aware. Yes.
Waxy waxy that was.
Waxy, yes, indeed. Pointed out.
So prior to the final excretion, I'm sorry, whatever they call it.
Well,
But,
to be fair, it wasn't just Jaren, right? Witsit was there too, right?
back to what I was
Yeah,
saying, I got a question. Weren't there a lot of flat earthers that were protagonists for the AE and even the Gleason map, saying that this is the evidence that proves this is our model, yada yada yada? Wasn't that like the rhetoric that was generally pumped from most people who were anti-globers or pseudo flat earthers or whatever you want to call them, true
Potentially,
earthers?
I kind of think you're tying the two things together. You've got a change in rhetoric from what would be consistent flat earth rhetoric to feast of nonsense, what seems like controlled opposition flat earth rhetoric. So suddenly it's like, no, let's get everyone in the audience to toe the line with models and how the Gleasons must be proven for us to be on a flat earth. And you're like, hold on, you've gone from being a pretty good researcher to dishing out the feast of nonsense. What's going on?
Yeah, it's a change in context, and I think it's really important to note that they've changed the context, and you're allowed to talk about flat Earth within the context of which model works. What they don't want us to do is talk about flat Earth in the context of verifiable evidence, and that's what I think this is about. This is about turning flat Earth into a different contextual conversation, a model focused argument.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, to be fair and to give kudos to Witsit, him and Jaren were both saying, even if they did see the sun go around their head, they're not going to, just ignore all the other facts and observations and measurement.
What's a
Well,
liar?
Witsit stood to that, and he didn't. He that didn't persuade him to believe in a globe like it did Jaren. So
Yeah,
I'm just saying in fairness.
Well, you can't let all the pigeons out at once. Jaren's done a 180-degree turnaround. Do you think Witsit, who's a proven demonstrable liar, isn't capable of turning around on a 180-degree heel and saying, actually, you know what, globe model's perfect? You don't think that's possible?
Well,
I know he's a liar.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Witsit said, just because there's a 24-hour sun, it doesn't mean it's not flat. It's just a different model that we have to come up with. But he hasn't said anything about it, right?
No, he actually, in one of his live streams, he straight out said, and literally he was like almost repeating what you say, Nathan, like verbatim. And he was like, it's measured flat, it's observed as flat, it's practically used flat. And he was like, that doesn't change my opinion. That's when I was like, kudos to him. At least he's still staying to the facts.
Yeah, but he doesn't mean he can't turn on a dime tomorrow, like Jaren has.
True. Yeah, but this doesn't sound like Nathan is sold on the 24-hour sun. That's the thing, right?
No, it's not that I'm not sold on it, right? It's inconsequential to me. If, for the sake of argument, you presented an argument where I had to accept that there was a 24-hour sun in the argument, I've got no issue doing that, because in this bigger scheme of what I know the world is and how it's measured, it makes no difference to anything I say. Okay, let's accept it for you. There is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Okay, now what?
Earth is still flat.
Well, we could look at some of the measurements they made in Antarctica, if you like, when the suggested 24-hour sun that I absolutely concede is definitely the case. Let's see what they measured of it. Oh, they're all elevation angles of the sun, flat Earth proofs then. Okay. So it didn't really change much of my view. What if you turn around just to put the other side of that and say, there is absolutely no way on Earth that's a real 24-hour sun? I leant into that immediately, by the way, just for the fun of it, because I thought it was amusing. I said the sun wasn't real. I was like, there is no sun. That was the first post I made to try and get people and just to antagonise. I posted a few posts on the community forum while they were doing it, going, the sun isn't real. I can't remember how I phrased it. I phrased it in such a way that was trying to, get people discussing it. I'll have to look it up, but I was like, the sun ain't real. But it's inconsequential. If you were to say they faked the whole thing, it was all done in a telly tent. Yeah? Tent of tellies. Then I'll go, okay, it's all fake. And now what? Same thing applies. Doesn't make any difference to me.
Well, there was somebody.
Flat earthers who claim that the 24-hour sun fits a flat Earth model, but they invoke a little bit of metaphysics and a dome and a parabolic curve reflection. And there are flat Earth ideas where the 24-hour sun, has to happen on a flat Earth and can be explained, and potentially could explain the angles to the sun better than the observation that they saw, because I believe there's inconsistencies in some of the globe model and the observation. So, just throwing it out there, there are
quick look around your ankle. Look at your ankle. What do you notice? See anything? Do you see a giant bleeding snare around your ankle currently, sir? Not noticed it? So rather than pointing out how Earth is factually measured flat in all instances, it's back to, well, how does the flat Earth model explain this Antarctic observation versus how does the globe model explain it? Back into a false dichotomy where there isn't one. There is no false dichotomy. There is no who explains this better. There is no will this work on a flat Earth. It's a measured flat plane in all examples. So why are we in the false dichotomy? Because it needs to be an argument, like there's an argument to be had. We, here at Flat Earth Debate, and for the most part on Politics Discord server, this section of it, we appreciate there is no debate. This isn't a subject that we can discuss whether or not it will work on a flat Earth. No offence, I find that quite objectionable, because it's not an if question. It's a statement of fact when we talk about how Earth is measured. But because it's a statement of fact that Earth is measured flat, and there's a world religion of being on a ball, it needs to be changed into the perception of there being a debate to be had. So to suggest that the explanation for a 24-hour sun needs to come from a flat Earth, and therefore it might be the possibility that the globe Earth does a better job of explaining it, well, then we're back into there being a debate when there isn't really a debate at all.
It's impossible to measure something flat.
Really? What about an elevation angle?
You measure horizontals and verticals, not flats.
What about an elevation angle?
No,
horizontal is flat.
No. Elevation angle has nothing to do with flat. Nothing.
Horizontal is flat.
We know that.
Yeah,
we know horizontal is
You
flat.
might want to define horizontal.
Wait, whoa.
Hold on.
You just double spoke, bro.
Yeah, but you can't measure flat. You can't measure flat.
We can. We measure it. We measure flat with an elevation angle. So do you want to define?
Yeah, a horizontal line can have an incline based on a reference point.
No, not if we're measuring an elevation angle. So do you know what
elevation
an elevation
angle from
seems
where?
like? I'm getting talked through every time I'm trying to address this guy. No,
to what?
We're talking about
big man.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get through the same sentence. Second attempt to get through the same sentence. Second attempt to get through the same sentence. Dealing with a wanker, it seems.
You cannot measure
dealing with a
flat,
wanker. Yep,
brother.
definitely dealing with a wanker. Dealing with a wanker, it seems. Second attempt to get through the sentence. It seems that I've pointed out 3 times that we do measure Earth flat with elevation angles. It's been hand waved. Yo, wanker. We're going to define what an elevation angle measurement is. Can you shut your flapping gums while I do that, or are you going to yatter through me?
He's muted.
Wanker had to be muted because he couldn't stop flapping his gums after ignoring and hand-waving a flat Earth elevation angle measurement that he said we couldn't measure. Oh, right, I said we could and then defined it. Well, I didn't get to that. He kept flapping his gums through it, but I've got it sat in front of me, still waiting to be read out, while some guy who's telling me that ain't the case and trying to move past it won't let me read out the definition because he has to be, muted by the server because he can't shut his bleeding mouth? Oh, yeah, of course, it's like back at the beginning of the show. To be a glurf, you've got to be a wanker. You've got to talk through your opponent when they say, yeah, we can measure Earth flat. Elevation angles. 4th time I've said it.
What's a glurf?
You, globe Earth believer, somebody who's glurfing through the top of me trying to define what an elevation angle is, the way we measure Earth flat. I'll define it. I defined it earlier from sustainable by design. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. Sustainable by design. Altitude angle measurement. That's a measurement that requires. I haven't finished. Wanker, proving you wrong. Wanker. I'm finished. I'm finished. Wanker, I haven't finished. What I'm doing is I'm proving you wrong. You say we can't measure Earth flat. I say, yeah, we can with an elevation angle. Now I'm defining it. All I did was read out the definition, and the wanker glurfed through me, didn't he? Had to glurf through the top of me, proving him wrong. Yeah, there'll be a horizontal plane the observer is standing on. It's part of the measurement. What measurement? The elevation angle measurement? Oh, right, what's that? A measurement of Earth and an angle between the observer and the sun. Oh, right, how is it measured? Well, it's an angle between the horizontal plane the observer's standing on and a line to the sun. So we'll be measuring the horizontal plane. It's part of the freaking angle. And why am I having to raise my voice to a Rasta wanker? Why is this Rasta wanker getting to talk through me? We heard that you don't agree. We heard you glurfing that ain't the case. Now you're going to glurf through the top of me, proving you wrong. Is it just I've got to prove you wrong? I've got to take 4 attempts to prove this glurf scumbag wrong, with him just deciding that no, being wrong isn't acceptable. Having me define what I've pointed out and is ignored and hand waved 3 times isn't enough. I'll glurf through you. Is that what you got, scumbag, dickhead? No, wanker. We do measure Earth flat. I've given you one, there's many examples. You ignored it, annoyed me, and then glurfed through the top of me while you hand waved it. No, we don't measure Earth flat with elevation angles. What's that? Yeah, we do. I've just defined it. What are you going to do now, dickhead? Ignore me and move on to a different question? Undoubtedly, if you get taken off mute, you won't acknowledge a single word. Now, I've taken my time out of my day to educate this wanker glurf. Just for my audience, not really. It's for your benefit. It's all just a bit of an act. Just so you know. This wanker glurf, I've taken my time to educate him. Is he acknowledging it? No! It's being a wanker. That's what I get for educating this dumbass. And how freaking wrong he is. I get glurfed through by a wanker. He's not going to acknowledge how freaking wrong he is and how Earth did get measured with this elevation angle. He's just going to glurf through me multiple times. Wanker. Go wank by yourself. Don't involve me in this. Yeah, don't do this by yourself, you stupid wanker.
What's the sky have to do with the ground?
No,
why are you going to the sun?
Notice he's not acknowledging a word I've said. We don't measure Earth flat, he said. Yeah, we do elevation angle. I've defined how it gets measured. Now he's asking a new question exactly as I predicted, and now I'm defining what he will do in exactly line with what I predicted. He won't acknowledge me, he'll ask a question. That's exactly what he did. Wanker much? Wanker much? Wanker much? Wanker much? I still haven't finished talking. He's still glurfing through me. That's his only tactic. His only tactic is before I finished even talking. If I take a breath, he'll immediately glurf through that breath. Wanker. I've measured Earth flat with an elevation. There he is, immediately glurfing through me because I've took breath. Yeah, wanker, you measured Earth flat with an elevation angle. I've defined it. Every time I've defined it, you've glurfed through me and then hand waved it and then asked me questions by chanting through me. You're just a wanker. Why am I having to raise my voice, politics Discord server? I've made 5 attempts to go through it with him. He's not acknowledged it in response, has he?
Nathan, Roger, either acknowledge it, pressure, or you're gonna be muted through the whole thing.
Yeah, Nathan, you had to go to the sky to measure.
He's telling me what I've got to do. Muting, wanker. I don't need telling what I'm going to do. I don't need telling. You say we don't measure Earth flat. I say we do and define an elevation angle measurement. Specifically. Now he's telling me what I do. No, wanker. Go fuck yourself. No swearing.
You have to use the sky to measure your ground flat?
No, I'm not doing anything.
Hold on, quick one.
I defined what an elevation angle measurement is. That's what I did, dickhead.
If you just keep repeating that constantly, one more time, you'll stay on mute continuously. This is your last chance. If you want to engage and show that you're not afraid of this conversation, then be cordial and try and develop the conversation, because right now you're just flexing your ego and it's boring for everybody.
No, there's no ego here. He had to go to the sky to measure the ground,
Hey,
brother.
we
And
have
that's
the
wrong.
first
do
15
you mind if I
So
ask-
just,
do you mind
so
if
just
I ask
remove
one
him. You've
question,
told
sir?
him not to do that, and he's
messed up already,
immediately
my
defied
friend.
you, hasn't he?
Alright, you can
Now he's
stay on mute
glurfing
now,
through
Theo.
me,
Sorry.
pointing this out. He's
Okay, brother.
glurfing through me. Yeah, he's
yeah,
going to glurf
please
through me,
continue.
pointing it out. He's immediately defied you. You've specifically, as a moderator, told him, don't just repeat it, acknowledge and get into the debate. So what has he done in defiance? He's done exactly what you've told him not to, hasn't he? What a wanker.
Sure did. And so he'll stay on mute.
So go fuck yourself, wanker. That's what you are. And audience, if you're a globe believer, he's you. That's probably the best you could do. I'm talking to you, you holding your phone, thinking, I'm a globe believer, I'm a nice guy. No, you're the same as him. That's what you would have to offer. Just chanting shit through the top of me, pointing out how Earth gets measured, by definition of a measured angle to the sun. Something specifically used. Our entire time system's based on it. But he's going to tell me, oh, I've got to go to the sky. No. I'll turn my arm and look at my wristwatch. Yeah? Because that system's based on that, you stupid dumbass. Yeah, I can infer a flat Earth measurement by looking at the time. You can tell me, I've got to go to the sky. No, I defined an elevation angle and our flat plane of reference is used in the measurement of Earth. What did dickhead do? Glurf through the top of me multiple times. Yeah, audience, I'm still talking to you. That's what you'd be doing. Simon Dan would be doing the same. He wouldn't be better represented by him. Same with dickheads like Dave, who thinks he's a professor, or Craig, the wife-beating, woman-beating, poking, convicted abuser. That's what he'd be doing. Flapping around, talking about how, oh no, you've got to go to the sky, through the top of me defining an elevation angle. Wanker behaviour from wankers who believe in a wank globe that came from flat Earth measurements. It's the best you can do. It's absolutely pathetic.
Doesn't he realize that's how celestial navigation is done? Celestial?
Celestial navigation is just you going to the stars, just you going to the sky. No, it's the basis of all navigation, you stupid dick glurf. Well, I've got about 5 minutes maybe left for the live show, so any other questions from any glurfs? Notice nobody told us we got bored during the hour. Neil.
Do we have any reasonable glurfs who are not going to just flex their ego and genuinely want to hash this out, because now's a good opportunity to speak up?
I have a question.
Feel free.
For Nathan.
Feel free.
For celestial navigation, I'm a glurf. So my question is, if you're standing on a slope of a hill or standing on top of a dome, are you still able to get elevation angles?
If I'm standing on a dome?
Yeah. Standing on top of a dome or on a slope of a hill, are you still able to get elevation angles?
So if I was on a hill, I would hope I would know where I was.
I understand that, but let's say you wanted to get an elevation angle.
Well, why?
Because I'm just saying if it's I'm asking if it's possible or not. Not like
So
the reason.
have I got to simultaneously think I'm so stupid I don't know where I am when I'm stood on a hill, but also smart enough to know how to use a sextant?
Yeah, what if you want to know your latitude?
I don't know where I am. Fortunately, even though I sound like I'm retarded, I know how to use a sextant. This seems stupid. I don't. It's hard to contradict myself and not know where I'm standing on a hill. That's not generally where people do.
Well, let's say you don't.
I'm trying to answer you. That's not generally where people. Second attempt. That's not generally where people do navigation, though, is it? Can you think of a different place that they might actually find this process useful?
Yes, but my question isn't why they would. Like, maybe they are lost.
Maybe I could ask you a
I'm
question.
just asking
Maybe
if
I
it's
could ask you
possible.
something. Why in unholy hell, if you were on a hill, would you need to know where you were? Why wouldn't you know where you are when you're on a hill? Do you get lost easily?
Yeah. Maybe
All right.
I'm lost. Maybe I'm in the woods.
I wouldn't trust you.
And I want to know my
well, just so
latitude.
we're clear, I wouldn't be giving you my sextant. I'd be making sure you kept as far away from my sextant as possible, because you got lost on this hill. Okay, it's not
get
like
it,
there's a
but
lack of
that's
geographic
your
location.
testing.
I'm still talking.
You're
It's
not
not. It's,
asking
I'm still
for my
talking. I'm still
question,
talking. I'm still talking. It's just you're being made to look stupid. it doesn't mean you have to keep yattering through me, making you look stupid. Your question was stupid.
All right.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
It
you
was
talk.
stupid,
This
why?
isn't an invitation for you to keep talking through the top of me, you stupid wanker. Shut up. Yeah, your question was stupid. Now I'm making you sound and look stupid. It's the fourth attempt with you in pain,
It was a good
yattering.
question.
Can you mute this wanker? Oi, fuckwit. You and your stupid fuckwit questions being made to look stupid by me. My name's Nathan Oakley. I don't tolerate
That's nice
fuckwit
to
fools
meet you.
lightly. And you yattering through the top of me, calling you a fuckwit, that's just going to get tolerated by the moderators. You yattering won't be. Because your stupid fuckwit question served no purpose and made you look stupid because you'd get lost on a hill. You're a retard. I wouldn't give you my sextant, retard, because you wouldn't know where the fuck you are on a hill. In spite of plenty of things around you to figure out where the fuck you were, you'd still get lost. Yeah, me, I might have one on the sea. I might get rumpus by a shithead dickhead who what thinks he's got a smart question. No, when I ask you where the hell we might be using this process, you just talk through me. Wanker! Are you still talking through me there, wanker? I'm answering you, stupid shithead question that you asked me, wanker. Wanker, I'm still answering you. I haven't taken breath yet, wanker. It seems like I've had 6 interruptions from you, the wanker, asking a stupid question. Me pointing out how stupid your question was. It's call for you to interrupt me incessantly 6 fucking times? Shut up, you stupid retard! Go and get lost on a hill, you dumbass retard! Meanwhile, I'll point out that with a sextant, I can establish a horizontal plane of reference for an angle to measure a star to know where I am. I can also do that on a hill. I just wouldn't need to, because I'm not a spacker. I don't get lost on hills. Spastic. I mean, I might have an ordnance survey and a map, but I wouldn't need a frickin' sextant. Oh my God, I got plenty of land things to look at. Yeah? When I'm out in the middle of the bleeding ocean and there's nothing to see anywhere, then I might need the stars and a sextant, you stupid dumbass. You clearly don't understand why you'd be needing this. You think you got a gotcha. And when I take your stupid, I think I've got a gotcha about establishing a plane of reference on a hill, yeah, we can still do that, you stupid dumbass. Oh my God, your gotcha was idiotic. Your yattering through me was just stupid as well. Painful, was it? Me pointing out how dumb your question was? All right, yeah, it's only because it's a gotcha that I'd have you on a hill and lost using a sextant. Yeah, me pointing out made you seem dumb, though, didn't it?
No.
Yeah, it did. I absolutely, I absolutely assure you it did.
Why are we able to do it on a slope of a hill?
Do what? How do you use a sextant?
You get an elevation angle from.
How'd you do that?
Horizontal.
Go through the process. How do you use a sextant? Do it. Tell me.
Well, if we're using a bubble sextant, we make sure it's level. Okay.
So we need a horizontal plane of reference then. So we can do this then. So why are you asking me if it can be done if you already know? So it is absolutely without question you trying to get a gotcha on me then. What a wanker.
It's not a gotcha.
What? I'm still talking, wanker. Wanker, I'm still talking. What I'm doing is pointing out that the only reason you're doing this while you yatter through me pointing out to my audience is to get a gotcha. You already know that when using a bubble sextant, you're establishing a horizontal plane of reference with it. So you already know. But yeah, you're asking me like it's in an if context. That just makes you a wanker seeking a gotcha, doesn't it? Yeah, we all know your game. You're a wanker.
So a flat plane isn't needed, right? The flat plane beneath your feet.
So the flat plane that you'd establish with a fucking bubble sextant that you just told us about, stupid wanker?
But not a flat earth.
Sorry, a flat plane that you'd establish with the bubble sextant you just told us about, stupid wanker, ×2. Let's count them off.
Yeah, but the flat earth is not needed,
sit down, shut up, you disingenuous wanker. Yeah, but fuck off. Mute this wanker. Wanker. Yeah, but suck my balls, you disingenuous glurf wanker. Mute him while I tell him off. Mute this wanker. Mute this wanker and this wanker that's talking through me. No, wanker. Yeah, but why am I still having him rumpus the shit out of me? What the fuck is going on? What's going on? What's going on? Why am I getting talked through?
Behavior, dude. It doesn't matter if you're right or not. Right? I know you're right. But Hush is acting composed and calm, and you're acting like an absolute fucking maniac.
Who the fuck is this?
Right? How do you think that looks
on
this entire channel?
Who are you?
Fucking get a hold of yourself, dude.
Who is this pansy?
Thank you.
What's going on? Yeah, but
Fucking-
I'll just pick up where I left off when I was furious with dealing with a disingenuous wanker. Yeah, but he understands he needs a flat plane, considering the white knight that just stepped in like there was something wrong with me getting angry. Yeah, I've taken him to the point of conclusion where he lost. Yeah, he knows a flat earth's needed. Now, when I get angry and demand that he concedes that, we get a very quick, yeah, but... No, my disdain is going to come out. I'm going to angrily tell him off. Because he absolutely, as I was pointing out before, some white knight scumbag told me that I wasn't allowed to get angry when someone's pissing down my back and telling me it's raining.
Nathan,
No, I'm
that's
going to get
fucking
angry. And
flaky.
here he is again. Someone's telling me off again while I get to the
Right,
crescendo of my
cool,
point.
cool.
I'm getting rumpused again by my not allowed to make the crescendo of my point, it seems. No, the crescendo's never going to be allowed.
So am I. What is he doing? He's he's running.
What's going on?
No, you don't mute mods, for God's sake.
Full
What is
stop,
this
gentlemen.
nonsense?
I think we need to have a meeting. This is not appropriate here.
Yeah, you muted me? I'm a mod?
What's going on?
I didn't mute
No,
you.
I didn't mute you.
So
You-
this is going to
somebody
become...
else did.
Sorry,
Don't
let
mute
me get it straight.
Nathan,
When
No
a
mod
guy...
should be muting. Listen, no mod should be muting any other mod. That is not what goes down here.
Yeah, but
Do not do that.
Nathan Oakley is running a show. What's going on? What are y'all doing?
So
He's
why is my
making
point getting
stuff that
hijacked?
Still have-
What's going on? Why is my point getting hijacked by moderation? Is
Dude,
this
take
painful
to
for the
to
moderation
to the
team or
mod server,
something?
dude. What the hell's going
All
on?
right.
I'm gonna admit Nathan because he's actually running a show here.
Yeah,
He
really,
does this every
DJ.
Friday. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of him yelling and
Well,
screaming.
you
like
know
a
what?
Oh, right, I've been muted. That's why I'm not being paid attention to anymore. Sick and tired of being yelled at screaming is what the last mod, who is in pain, has clearly just said. The guy has lied and said that why and if would a flat plane be used. I take him to the point where he already knows that he's just trying to get a gotcha and understands a plane of reference is used with a bubble sextant. And as a result of my fury at knowing he's trying to pull a fast one, knowing that he's trying to get a gotcha, and demonstrating to my audience that he's just trying to get a gotcha on me, the mod stepped in and said that my behaviour is not appropriate. That's what's happening. So I've been server moderated in politics during the middle of my live show by one of the overzealous modders of the show.
Yeah.
No worries, I
But
can
the
put
other
them on.
guy's
I
trying
can
to
put them
take
on
it
mute
back
too.
now.
No worries, I can continue to run my live show from this unbiased channel. I mean, what's going on? The mod decided that he was going to interject because I got angry with somebody who lied to my face.
It's fine to get angry, right? But the way you're acting is not a good look for flat earthers in general.
Who's this guy again? My point is it being ignored
Get
by
out of
you,
the
the
channel today,
moderator.
bro. Listen to Nathan is done. Get out of the
Away,
channel.
right? Chases everyone away.
Dude, get out the channel until Nathan it finishes show, please. All you're doing is
This
disrupting,
moderator
bro.
has decided
Stop.
to destroy my show, it seems. This moderator, this
Yeah, I'm
overzealous
disrupting.
moderator has decided he's going to destroy my show.
What are you doing?
Poor Nathan. Yeah,
So
you're destroying
so now it
the-
is poor Nathan, this guy. I'm running a show. This is what I do for a living. And I've built up a rapport with the other moderators here. And they've allowed me to run a show here. The guy that you decided that I was being too harsh to lied to me. I pointed out that he was just trying to get a gotcha twice because he already knew a plane of reference was used. Seems I'm getting interrupted by the same moderator, no doubt. And when I pointed out that he did know because he actually said it, I got annoyed with him, and then you stepped in like a white knight. He needed a plane of reference.
Yeah,
the bubble. I still haven't finished. Still getting it now. I'm getting interrupted. Is it the mod that's interrupting me?
Yeah. Well, you interrupt people.
Can
right?
you handle this, Crit?
It wasn't good, big.
The moderator seems to be a new guy. who's not
Elbow,
familiar
me and
with
Nathan
Nathan's
could have just
tactics.
sorted it out if you didn't keep jumping in, dude.
Shut up, dude. Stop talking. All you're doing is being this.
You guys just hold off, okay? We move on to the next caller, and we'll pick it up later, all right?
Yep. Let's move on, and we'll come back to this. Yes, Crit. Good shout.
I mean, obviously, I can't be here if I can't get frustrated with someone pissing down my back and telling me it's raining. The guy knew he needed a flat plane of reference with a bubble sextant. I said you already knew and he was trying to get a gotcha. He persisted, and then when I got the concession, that was, but I got very angry. Justifiably
Okay,
so.
Nathan-
That, but I'm still getting bloody interrupted, of course.
Yeah, Nathan, I'm trying to. Don't worry about the meta. The only problem is when you reference someone, sucking your balls, that could be taken as a SA, and also a TOS violation. It really depends on the context. We could say you're talking about your globe, or whatever. Your
It's a metaphor.
So No, it's I got it. It's a complete metaphor, and we're gonna talk about it after the show in mod chat.
I mean, fair enough. If you say my metaphors don't accept, same with pissing down my back and telling me it's raining. That's a metaphor.
Yeah, I got it, and we'll talk about it. We'll get all the other mods online, and we'll sort it out. But so
okay,
continue. Sorry about the interruption.
As there's going to be a mod meeting, just a quick question. So when we got people like the Rasta chatting through me non-stop, right? I mean, where was he then? That dude, did he tell the Rasta off? Was he here? Can I just ask him? Dude, did you tell the Rasta off?
Yeah, man, I ban him all the time. He's a clown.
I'll take it back. Give me my dressing down. I've obviously done something wrong.
Anyway, Nathan, I apologize for interrupting your show, right? We'll sort it out in the mod chat and carry on with your show. Sorry for derailing the conversation.
No, you're perfectly within your rights. You're the moderator. I'm a guest. If I've done something wrong, I've got to take a step back, grit my teeth and say, I'd like you to tell me, now I've calmed down, you've identified, not anybody else, that I'm a bit over the top. You're right to rein me in, right? Now, I want to acknowledge that. I've got a good relationship here. Now, I don't want to piss you off. And sometimes the ref gets caught with a clip which isn't intended for him. Now, that is absolutely not my intention, right? So first, I want to take a breath and say, look, I'm sorry. I've unintentionally caught you with a haymaker that wasn't intended, right? You're just trying to keep control, and you're right to do so. That's why I like being here. So firstly, thank you. But I do need to be told what I've done wrong, because I have done something wrong. I know I have. You wouldn't have stepped in otherwise, correct?
I appreciate that. And let's carry on with the show. And I apologize as well. All right, let's carry on.
No, but I haven't taken in what I've done wrong, though. I don't know yet. So in order to not do it again, I'd rather you just tell me off, so to speak. I'm not asking. I'm not a sadist.
Yeah, look, it's just a little too much, right? The way you're just consistently screaming insults, right? So I agree with what you're saying, right? He was in the wrong and you're right to get angry. But when the audience is listening, right, they think all they're feeding on is your insults and the way that you're acting, right? I think you could probably handle the situation a little more calmly and a little less insulting, right? Just constantly throwing out vulgar insults at the person is going to make flat earthers look bad. I hope anyone listening to that is going to think flat earthers are maniacs, right? They're never going to want to look into the topic again. That's why there's hardly anyone here when you come in here for your show. Even though there's 50 people in the room, most of them are flat earthers. The Globers don't want to come in here when you're here because of that reason, right?
You're just talking to one right now.
That's not true, man. You're misrepresenting it.
Hold on. Okay.
Teachers, you're so
just one second. Everyone else can step off just for 1 second.
I'm one of the newer people in here, and you couldn't be more wrong. First of all, you don't represent all the viewers, so you're speaking on your own behalf. The other thing is that's not true at all. This server was empty before Nathan came in here, so speak for yourself.
And that's fine.
It wasn't empty.
Aside from his addition of extrapolation of other people's thoughts, fine, I can understand you objecting. Also noted. However, his criticism is that I'm too over the top, and as far as he is concerned in this, which is his representative server as a mod, I'm too over the top when I'm tearing a strip off people and delivering insults that are crude. Duly noted. Okay? Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Yeah, I'm angry with these people, so I do need reining in. I appreciate you doing it. Fine. Thank you.
Nathan, there's other 4 mods here, and none of us shut you down. Just as DJ,
it doesn't matter. He's absolutely within his rights. Just because you agree with what I'm doing,
he just doesn't like your tone. That's it.
I agree, but he's right to do that.
DJ is one of the main mods here. He is relevant.
Doesn't matter. He doesn't like his tone.
Agree or not, but he's making his points and he's allowed to, like Nathan said. So let's not gang up on him. I think he's.
But he hasn't told anything that he's done wrong. Yes. All he's done is he doesn't like his tone because he's over the top.
And that's correct. That is what he's told me. Just everyone chill for just 1 sec.
Yeah,
I'd rather.
Could have just
ignored me.
I was just trying to rein it back a little bit, right? That's all, right? Perfect. You didn't have to jump in, Elbow, right? We can talk about it in the mod
but
channel.
You haven't told him anything that he's done wrong. All you've told him is that he's gone over the top.
Yes, and he's correct to do so.
Screaming insults to people.
Just let me just talk to Albariqua
right?
For 1 sec. Just 1 sec. Albariqua, right? I can see both sides, right? I can appreciate that there's going to be a line where you sit on one side and go, I totally agree with everything I just did and the crude nature of it. I'm doing it to ham it up. That's why I can, to a degree, switch it off when necessary, right? Now, there is another side of that line. It doesn't matter if it's one man or 100. That one guy that says, wait, rein this in, it's too much, is needed. Now, without that, it would get worse. Now, in years gone by, it's been the Christians, as somebody asked me about my religion earlier, that have took me to one side and gone, you need to rein it in. Stop swearing so much. Stop being so vulgar. And I've gone, thank you. Like I'm thanking this guy, right? What's your name, by the way?
DJ.
Thank you, DJ. I do need reining in from time to time. If you hadn't have done it, it would have got worse. Thank you. And Bariqua, I agree. The guy needed a good dressing down. The vulgarity is occasionally warranted, but just not now. It annoyed somebody. That's enough. One man's enough.
As one of your audience, Oakley, I like what happened now because it shows to everyone in your audience in YouTube that you are not in a channel or server that is biased to you or to what you think. So it's not a biased server. You will just have a discussion in this server as anyone, and it's moderated.
Yeah, well, I needed moderation. That's why it's a good server. I'm smiling because at some point, while I needed to rein it in, absolutely true, I got muted. This isn't my server. Sometimes it becomes acutely obvious to the audience that that's the case, like now. And there's probably people in the audience that are thinking, good, Nathan needed shutting up. But I'm going to actually thank my audience and the Discord panel for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. But again, a massive thank you to the Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Shout out to Flat Out Fudge. Speaking of the sextant and given the globe deception using the sextant in Paris, you shouldn't have to point it upwards to get to Polaris. Thank you for the super chat, Flat Out Fudge.